Well, John, a big thank you for joining us. And before we get to this weekend's big game against the York City Knights, just a bit of a catch-up, really. How's the season gone? I think it's safe to say it's gone pretty well at Leigh, heading into these playoffs.
Yeah, it's gone really good. I think I came in sort of mid-January, so a lot later than some of the others. But it's been really good. I know that in the beginning, around December, there was only sort of like 11 players. So the club itself didn't really have a team. But I've been in some good teams, and about the whole, players being able to gel together, get to know each other and build that connection and relationship. This is probably the quickest or the best I've seen it happen. Like as a group, we've got a good mixture of young, a good mixture of old and experienced, and a lot of people in between. But it's been really, really good as a collective to be able to sort of gel this quick, and it's shown throughout the year.
Saying that, how quickly it gelled. There's silverware as well already this season. Very early doors at the end of May. How was your afternoon at White Hart Lane at Tottenham?
Yeah, it was wonderful. It was awesome. It was a crazy experience to be able to play at that stadium. And in the beginning of the year, before I got here, the team sort of set out 3 goals, 2 which have been achieved now, and the last one, which is hopefully we can get through to next week. So, but it's Tottenham was one of those games where we wanted to be there, because obviously Derek sponsors the AB Sundex, the cup, and it was one that he really wanted to win if we didn't get through to the Challenge Cup final. And it's one that we set as a group, it was one of our big targets to achieve. And the attitude of the boys when we turned up that week, the whole preparation leading up to it, was awesome. Everyone bought into what we needed to do. Everyone understood their role and their job. And that's all we had to do was execute that game plan, and which we did. It was very tough. Featherstone, a really, really good team. And in patches there, we were a bit off, and Featherstone gave it back to us. And it sort of, it helps us as a group to be able to, fix those little things, and, eventually got on top in the end.
And I'm imagining the other target was to finish top of the pile, and you've achieved that. Yep. How satisfying, but how challenging has this season been as well? Because you've been marauding your way through this division this season, but that's easier said than done. Yep. Because there's plenty of good quality teams in the championship this past year.
Yeah, there is. I think one of the things that's kept us in the position that we're in at the moment is the attitude and the willing to learn from the boys. Every week we just turn up, we make sure that our attitude is switched on, that we respect every team that we play. Because, the moment that you get too over yourself and you think it's just going to happen, that's when it all goes wrong. I got asked a question the other day from a fan, asking me about, do you feel the pressure? Do you feel the need that you guys have to win this, all the pressure's on you? And I said to the fan, I sort of thought about the question, and I said to him, all the pressure comes from within. It's from the individual. If you put pressure on yourself, there's going to be a lot of pressure for you to be able to do and execute what you need to execute, which makes it harder. The pressure is all, it can be how you handle the background noise. It could be, a lot of it can come from fans saying that, we should win this. And, if we don't win, we're chokers, or, we failed. But to me, I played in a lot of big games, and, the pressure is within yourself. If you put the pressure on yourself to be able to execute what you need to execute, you're going to make it very hard. All we have to do as players is to understand everything that we've done from round 1 to round 27, I think it is, what we've done from the beginning of the season to where we are now. All we have to do is do everything that we've already practiced and trained, but then try and go that extra step. You don't have to do anything miracle. You don't have to do something outstanding. Just got to do your job. And I think that's, if we can do that, which we have in the last couple of weeks, boys have really understood what they have to do as an individual, to make sure they can do their part for the team.
And it's clear, like you touched upon there, it's clearly a very grounded dressing room with that regard. And that takes us to the York City Knights this weekend. And I'm imagining people have asked you this already, but about the last time you played the York City Knights, it was a bit of a one-sided game. I don't think York have ever experienced a game like that, certainly at championship level.
Yeah.
But playoff rugby league and all that, it's a one-off game. You'd be foolish to think that could happen again. So
exactly.
What
we achieved in that round game was unbelievable. The boys turned up and played their best footy. But York also had a lot of players missing. They've got a few injuries. I'm not too sure whether they'll be back for this game. But like you said, it's finals football. Everything changes. People's attitude changes. They have more to fight for. You know what I mean? You look at York. They're a very talented squad. They're only one win away from their grand final. They're not just going to think, oh, we got smashed by Leigh 100-6 or 4, that it's going to happen again. It's not going to happen. These games, you can't take lightly because you only have one opportunity. There's no 2 points on the line here. It's pretty much do or die. Whoever wins will go to the big dance. So a lot of this is just attitude, and it always come down to attitude and the way people think about it. But this game ain't going to be an easy game. It'll be tough, but we're just going to make sure we're up for it. And
I think it's safe to say you've developed a good bond with the Leigh supporters over the last 9 months or so since joining the club. How important is home advantage this weekend, do you feel, as well?
Yeah, it's very important. The supporters come support us wherever we play. They always come. They've got their buses and they turn up every time. The least that we can do is to make sure that we can put on a performance that they're going to be proud of. They will always turn up no matter where we're playing, no matter where the final will be. I know they'll be there. But the home ground advantage, it's, just another tick of the box, for what we've achieved this year. Obviously, we were second for majority of the year until we were able to beat Fev, and then Fev dropped another game, which sort of helped us, remain at the top of the table. But for the majority of the period, we had to try and make sure that we were switched on and we were on every game to make sure we can try and get this home advantage, especially if we were to get on top, especially in the GF. So, but we've done really well, and I know the fans will turn up this weekend. As long as we can perform and put on performance that the fans expect us to put on, and know that we can do and play to our potential, they'll be happy.